All right. Are we live? Does it say live? We are live, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. Welcome to another episode of Smash Time Chat. Yeah. Yeah. It's very nice to see you all in here. I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew, so I'm a little spacey, little space cadetty right now. Let's see who is in the chat. We have Triple H, who is a new channel member. Man, I appreciate that, buddy. I really do. I'm in the chat, of course. Fluffy, Mike McClune, Shooting Gallery, New England. What's up, man? It's good to see you. What's this about you having some kids, some triplets, quadruplets? Holy smokes, man. You need to start a GoFundMe just for those. That's going to be expensive. Me the People, another channel member. Thank you so much. Let's see. And that's about it. Let's see. Fluffy says less than 2 more days and the XDM Elite 10 is coming out of jail, layaway, and coming home to a safe space. I tell you what, I love 10 millimeter. I loved it so much. That's actually how I hooked up with the guest tonight. He does a lot of ballistics tests, and I was always wondering, like, is 10 millimeter any good? Is it just all smoke? Is it just a 40 caliber on steroids? And I found his channel. I watched a couple of his videos. Alaskan Ballistics, fantastic channel. And then I ran into him at IV88 in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was like, holy crap, I just watched you like 2 weeks ago. Very cool to meet you in person. And so we finally got our schedules right. I think he's got a little bit of the Ebola right now, but so let's bring him in the chat. This is Chucky with Alaskan Ballistics. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Oh man, it's going. So is it the coof or you just under the weather or?
Just under the weather, some type of stomach bug where if I have to run away for real quick, I'll try to stop my camera. But
It's all right. It's all right. Heck, man, I almost had an accident in one of the local Buc-ee's myself the other day. Don't eat expired meat, folks.
It's true.
Let's see. Let's check the chat. What's up? DJ's in here. Brandon, Jay Curry. I tell you what, guys, if you're not a subscriber to Alaskan Ballistics, please, I just put it in the chat. Please click it and subscribe to his channel. Quality stuff. I'm learning about ballistics and doing gel tests and chronograph and all that. And just to be honest, the majority of what you do is all Greek to me. But I'm learning.
Cool. Yeah. When I was growing up, my dad we would always get the catalog for the new Remington. He was a Remington man back when Remington was good, and I would look up all ballistics in the back of the catalog for all their ammo and just study the charts. What does a 7mm 08 do at 200 yards and all this kind of stuff? And so I just got into this numbers nerd game. And so I'm a numbers nerd. I like seeing how fast the bullet can go, or do you drive it too fast and do you make it smash apart? That kind of thing.
Right. Well, heck, I might need your help because I got this. You were in the chat when the Pilgrim Ammo guy was on.
Mm-hmm.
And this stuff looks really cool. As far as all the specs, I don't know.
That's the really lightweight stuff. A lot like the
super lightweight. And what's crazy,
like civil defense.
I've never seen like a real hollow point. I mean, if you check that out, that thing is completely hollow inside. It's crazy.
Yeah, so here's the Liberty Civil Defense, which is kind of the same
concept. Yeah.
It's a 60-grain bullet. They were kind of the original. I like the ammo. I like the concept of the ammo. I would always keep a few boxes for crap hits the fan, because even in 9mm, it may penetrate just because of the speed, especially if you're shooting out of a long barrel. It may penetrate pistol-rated body armor. But I say may. It depends on how good that pistol body armor is. But as far as like a home defense situation, it's kind of like one of those things, headshots only, because it may not penetrate deep enough. especially in my neck of the woods where somebody's going to be wearing 4 layers of clothing before they break into your house. So,
All right. So when I test this stuff, because I was gonna get I don't want to admit this, but I actually have a jean jacket. It's not mine, but I do have access to a pretty thick jean jacket. So I was gonna put a t-shirt over the gel block, a jean jacket,
mhm.
and then shoot through that because I think that'd be kind of more realistic.
I agree, or a hoodie or anything like that. I always go to the local cloth store and just buy like 5 yards of denim. But yeah, it would definitely be helpful. I do a lot of non-gel testing just because gel testing is great, like for scientific measurement. Like this bullet will go this deep in this gel, and we can compare it to this bullet because we did the same test for both, right?
Right.
Um, but non-gel testing, like put it up with you, throw up the denim and the clothing, some 2 sets of ribs, a cantaloupe, and some water jugs behind it to catch the bullet and see what happens there. First of all, you'll notice it goes just as about a deep through it as it does go through gel. Just about. I mean, the gel might
Right.
be 15 inches. The redneck testing, as I call it, might be 13 inches. But
That's just the water jugs.
yeah, but the differing layers, like the ribs and then the cantaloupe and then the water jugs, are much better for like seeing what that bullet's going to do. For
So what
example,
should I test this against? Should I just go get some regular Winchester plus P 9 millimeter?
yeah, I mean, yeah, you can test it against anything you want. I would see if they I would probably test it against some 180 grain XTP from either Hornady or Underwood.
I think I
Um,
see that right here.
yeah, for 10 millimeter. Just because. So I grew up reading all those numbers, and it kind of messed me up for a little while. And it took a couple of people to tell me, "Hey, you got to look at this," and you really want 18 inches in ballistics gel. Um, a lot of people say 12 to 18 inches. If you read the original like 1970s reports on ballistics gel from in bare ballistics gel, they wanted 18 inches in the original FBI studies. And the reason why they wanted 18 inches is because they knew the different layerings of the body. If it penetrated 18 inches in gel, it tended to penetrated the 12 inches it needed to into the body. Um,
Right.
and so that has been misconstrued over the years as we need to get 12 to 18 inches. And so you remember the old Corbon power Glazer power balls? They had the ball in front of the bullet,
No.
and they had on the inside of the casing they had a more of a soft lead powder type thing,
Mhm.
and they were loaded hot. They were always light for grain. I think the 45 was a 165 grain, and it was going like 1,250 feet per second. So it's getting up there with the 10 millimeter.
Well, I'm
Because it
gonna
was
test the 9 and the 45 this weekend,
right.
and I have oh god, I
Yeah.
don't have it in front of me. It's in the
I
safe, but I
tested
have
those in gel, those old Corbon power bowls. I just tested those in gel before I had a channel or anything, and they're great. Ooh, I got my 12 inches, but when I shot a white-tailed deer I had wounded with one, it didn't penetrate. Like I shot her in the back of the head and neck, and it literally didn't penetrate more than skin deep.
what about a pig head?
So, pig head would be awesome. Yeah, that's one of the best tests you can do
I think
right
I
there.
can get my hands on a few of those. Don't ask me how, but I think I can.
Yeah. But yeah, do the gel testing so we all see, but also do something else so that we can be like,
Have you ever done, you know what I wish? I wish someone would set up a house, like an abandoned house, one that's getting ready for demo. Set up a house, shoot through the walls, and see what a bullet will actually do going through the plywood, hitting the wood, and how many walls will it go through? I want to see like a really good test. I know that people have done like they've stacked a little bit of plywood and some
right.
whatever, but I
But an
want to see what
actual
it,
house, an
yeah, an
actual house.
actual house. I think that'd be a really cool test.
I mean, you got wiring and plumbing and pipes and all sorts
Right.
of things a bullet could hit. One
Pictures
of
on the wall.
pictures on the wall, and people don't realize even that thin glass of a picture takes a lot of energy out of a bullet. Um, it's not going to stop the bullet. You're still going to be dead if you're on the other side of the wall, but it takes a
Right.
lot of energy out of that bullet. I mean, if you hit a
Plus, it
picture
changes
frame,
the trajectory too. When you shoot through glass, if it's angled, that bullet could go anywhere.
yeah, including sideways back at somebody else. Yeah, um, wouldn't be the best thing ever. But I've always wanted to do that test, like how many sheets of drywall will it go through, and then I think like you do. It's like, well, 15 sheets of drywall is not a real house. You're not going to go through 15 sheets of drywall, no matter which way you shoot through my house. I
Yeah,
have,
that would be pretty sweet though.
yeah, I have a pretty small house, so.
So
But
you're in Alaska now. Were you born and raised in Alaska?
no, I was actually born and raised in Georgia. That's how I knew the Iraq veteran 88 guys. I used to work with their gunsmith Ray. So I
Oh,
actually,
nice.
yeah, I ran from a divorce I didn't want, and it was the best thing I ever did. So, um, I got my new wife, great family. Got another one on the way. So we're happy as we can be, and um, got a nice little house beside a mountain, which is probably why my internet might go a little fuzzy here and there.
Oh, that's all right, man.
But
In
yeah,
Alaska,
no,
internet's pretty pricey, man. I think it's like over $150, right, for like real fast internet.
yeah, and I can't. I get a nice discount because they can't even get the real fast internet out to me. Like
How long does it take you to upload videos?
3 or 4 hours a night. I
Oh
mean,
my god,
it was back.
sounds
It's just
boring,
like 2003, my friend. So, but
man.
no, yeah, it was 3, 4, 5 hours all night. If I get on a fast internet, it'll go like that. It'll be 10 minutes, but no, it takes me quite a bit of time.
Yeah, and so you've been doing this YouTube stuff for 4 years now. Is it 4 or 5 years?
Shoot, I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I started doing it because I started having problems with my legs, where I couldn't walk without pain. Well, and it's getting better, but it's not still not 100%. So I couldn't do like a hunting show. So I just wanted to do like an actual ballistic show and kind of justify my buying of weapons when I couldn't hunt anymore. So
Yeah.
or hunt
Hey,
much.
so what does the wife think about all that? Because if you're like me, YouTube is not. Um, it's cost prohibitive. It's a little bit more expensive.
I'm at that point now where I break even just about with my YouTube money coming in from advertising and from sales of stuff like that, and my gun money to buy new stuff going out. In fact, last year I technically lost money, but then we got it all back in taxes. So it was one of those things. So stick in there; it can be profitable. Um, there are some tricks to getting almost every video monetized. I can talk about that offline with you later. Um, but there's uh, it's definitely at that point where it could, if it blew up, it would be a career, and if it stays like it is, it's where
Hobby.
I'm able to have my gun hobby and eat it too, have my cake and eat it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm
I
really
might have
thankful
to
for
pull back
this.
a little bit because when I do gun reviews, I want to put a couple hundred rounds through it, 400 or 500 rounds, a couple trips to the range. Because
Hmm.
you see a lot of first mag reviews, and it's cool. But can you really get a good impression of the gun? One range trip? I mean, will buyer's remorse set in? Is it worth the money you paid? Or do you still feel it? Like I wanted the XDM Elite in 10 millimeter really bad,
Hmm.
but I had the XDM in 9.
Good gun. Hmm.
It's a great gun. And to
Hmm.
shoot it, it's cool. But would I have bought it? Maybe not after owning it for a while. I might have borrowed somebody's and shot it and done a video, but I probably would have just got the 10 instead of the 9 or just kept the 9 and not got the 10, you know. It's two of this almost same exact gun. So
Yeah. Very good gun. That one's actually becoming pretty popular up here for bear defense. It used to be all Glock, but Glock you have to put in to shoot hard cast regularly. You got to put in a better chamber support barrel and traditional rifling barrel for the hard cast.
what do you mean
Um,
hard cast? What is that?
um,
Is that you
so
cast your own bullet?
no, you can buy these. So this is like I just happen to have all these laying next to me. So heavy outdoorsman, 10 millimeters, a 220 grain, going 1,200 feet per second for over 700 foot-pounds. And of course, out of my longer barrel guns, it gets more than that. It's like 780 foot-pounds. But the bullet it looks like a pure lead, but instead of being soft, that lead is extremely hard. It's a deep penetrating round. And this is considered like the granddaddy of all wildlife defense rounds.
Oh
So
wow.
um, no matter what caliber you use. I mean, most people still probably carry 44 Magnum up here. I do a lot. But 10 millimeter is very, very popular here. Like it's when
I
people want
was
a bear gun, they buy a 10 millimeter these days.
I was watching one of your videos and you were out with a buddy in the woods. You had like 4 guns on you. I'm like, what? This guy is nuts. You're like, I got this gun here on my chest. I got this one on my hip. I thought you were gonna pull one out
Yeah,
of your sock. I was like, what is Chuck doing?
that's the one place I didn't have it. And I still carried that 7 miles, even with bad legs and all. So,
What's wrong with
yeah,
your leg?
they don't know. I have these pain where if I exercise on it too long, stand on it too long, it just gets this achy pain down deep in the muscle somewhere. So I've
Oh
been to all
shit.
sorts of doctors for it. So it's one of those things where if I don't get it taken care of soon, I'm at the point where like I can't exercise. So if I don't take care of it soon, I'm gonna have to like you know probably look at restricting my diet to just vegetables and meat or something like that, so that I don't have a heart attack. Like I'm at that point where I need to get it taken care of in the next few years so I can start running again and start losing weight. And so, because I was like 185 pounds when my leg thing started happening, and you saw me at Iraq Veteran 88. I wasn't 185 pounds, so
Yeah, maybe 190.
yeah, maybe plus
Well, I
something.
took the scales like they during New Year's recently. How much does smash time weigh? I weigh 308.
Hmm.
And
I'm right there with you, man.
holy crap. I've never weighed that much in my life. And you know what's funny? When I was in, I was born and raised in California. I was a personal trainer. I was jacked. I was, work out twice a day, fanatic for like 7, 8 years. And I moved to Texas and quit smoking the same week. And it just all this good food. And I replaced cigarettes with food. And it was like pulling a ripcord on one of those inflatables, man. Like boom. It was
Yeah.
so good. Let's check the chat. Let's see who's here. DJ's in here. What's up, DJ? Benji, what's going on, bud? Fluffy's still in here. Jay Curry, what's up, buddy? Jay Curry's the man. Mike Showers, I hope you do. And then Randy Adams, my buddy Randy. Nice. And again, if you guys are not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. And I'm also going to put Alaskan Ballistics, a link to his channel in there. Please click and subscribe to his channel. He'd greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nice. Nice. So you were in Georgia. So I'm in Georgia all the time. My brother lives in Noonan, but I have friends in Fayetteville and all over that place.
That's
A
where
lot
I
of
grew
friends.
up.
You grew up in Noonan?
I grew up in Jonesboro and had friends in Noonan and Fayetteville. I worked in Fayetteville for a while. Fayetteville was from my house. Fayette County High School was our cross county rival. We were right on I went to Lovejoy High School and we were right on the thing. And I may or may not have drawn blue L's on there. I hope the statue all over their stadium when we won. I think the statute of limitations for that is up. May or may not know who did that, but I mean, it was only in response to when they changed the letters on the sign of our school to FU Fayette County. So, a little bit of.
I loved it. I love it. If it wasn't for if my daughter didn't live in Texas, I would have moved to Atlanta, probably the Noonan area because my brother's been there about 20 years now. No shit.
It's a great area, but there's too many people for me. Like,
oh, you hate Houston then?
Yeah, I can walk across the street from my house and be in the type of wilderness where you can't find me. So
nice. Let's see. Lee Fox says, "What's up? Thanks for the sticker. Appreciate it. My buddy Levi. It's my buddy I grew up with in LA. He's gonna move to Houston soon. He better. He's another 2A. I'm gonna turn him into the biggest freaking gun nut. Got Flying Rich in here.
Yep.
Crashing Rich.
Yep.
Stephen M. Oh, nice. Chris. Oh man. Yeah, he's always ready for a 10 millimeter chat.
Thanks, Chris.
He's already one of your subscribers.
Yeah, I think I've seen his comments before.
Armored Axis. Robert Harrison. Nice. Man. Oh, and Dwayne, my buddy Dwayne. God, he's been with me since almost the get-go, since I first started doing this. So you started YouTube 4 years ago, and you've just been grinding it since, man.
Yeah, I've been. It's been a grind too. It's been just trying to learn how to make videos better. If you go back and look at my first videos on the channel, they're awful.
They're
Like
not that
just
bad.
yeah, they are. I should delete them. But I've just been trying to do the once a week thing. Be consistent. Um, try to do a multitude of calibers. I mean, I know I'm known as a 10 millimeter. I'm known as like a 10 millimeter and like a 7 millimeter mag and a 338 Win Mag guy. But
There's
just do a
nothing wrong with that.
no, do a multitude of calibers. Um, I'm a huge 6.5 Creedmoor fanboy. So all the memes hit me right here. Like, no, that's not it. But I love the caliber, and so um, it's just I try to keep plugging away, man. Trying to do ballistics tests. My big thing was I got into it. I don't know if you know the website Ballistics by the Inch, and they
Mm-mm.
literally take a barrel and cut it 2 inches at a time, and they'll show you what a caliber does, cartridges do, and all that. And I kind of was inspired by that. I mean, that was a great website, and it's interesting because like 45 230 grain, for example, you get much over 12 inches, you're going to slow that bullet down because it's so big and long. And
Hold on,
uh,
hold on. Just for the ladies listening, it's not all about the inches. Just putting that out there.
yeah, but uh, like uh, like you'll actually slow a bullet down with a longer barrel. If like a 147 grain 9 millimeter, it's not going to go that much faster out of a 16-inch barrel because all the powder burns out in what 9 inches, 10 inches maybe, and then you just have friction for the rest of the barrel. So those really light bullets like that, they do really well in like a long barrel PCC or uh,
Right.
some type of brace pistol, 10-inch carbine. They do really well in those kinds of things because they have no friction because they're like that long compared to the casing, and there's a lot more powder in them. So
Yeah, let's see. We got Urban Ninja in the chat. What's up, buddy? So Jesus has a question. I don't own a 10 millimeter handgun. What's a good starter 10 millimeter? What's your guys' favorite firearm, rifle, and handgun? You go first.
all right. Well, a good starter 10 millimeter, I would say I would go with the Glock Model 40. It's a long slide. The heavy long slide makes it so much smoother to shoot than a Glock Model 20. And
I agree.
yeah, and it has the MOS system and the 4.5 pound disconnector, so the trigger's better. You can put a red dot on it easy. Um, uh, to shoot hard cast bullets though with Glock, because they're non-traditionally rifling. So if you want like a bear defense gun or something you can carry in the woods of Montana or here in Alaska or something like that, you do need to rebarrel Glocks, in my opinion. People shoot them out of the factory barrels, no issues, but then there are sometimes issues.
What
So
about revolvers?
yeah, so I don't see the point of a 10 millimeter revolver other than they're cool to own and they're fun to shoot.
They look cool.
Which is all you need, right? But you lose so much in the cylinder gap and it's not 10 millimeters, not a super long cartridge like 357 Magnum or 44 Magnum. So you're not really going to overcome that cylinder gap. A 6-inch revolver versus a 6-inch semi-auto, you're going to get 70 feet per second less in that revolver. Now, the cool thing about a revolver is you can shoot 40 Smith & Wesson out of it safely. You're really not supposed to shoot a lot of 40 Smith & Wesson out of 10 millimeter. People do it with no issues.
No, I wouldn't.
You're really not
I heard
supposed to.
that's bad juju.
Yeah, you're not supposed to, simply because your round is now head spacing on the extractor. So instead of the round fitting itself to the chamber, the round is held in only by the extractor. So 40 is notorious for having overpressured rounds early in its life. I had one of the 40s that blew up, and so that's another story altogether, I guess. But like I would not put a notoriously overpressured round only on the extractor. I wouldn't do it much. I've done it once on the channel, but I wouldn't do it much.
So your favorite firearm would be the Glock 40.
Yeah, for a 10, that's probably my favorite handgun that I own.
See, I would go on the other side of that aisle. I would say the XDM 10.
Yeah, it's a great gun. Yeah, it's a
Because I
great gun.
like it. I like it. I have one. It shoots phenomenal. And you're right, though. Compact 10 millimeters are, they shoot. They're fun.
Mm-hmm.
but they're not enjoyable to shoot. You're not going to go out and
Right.
practice, and they're
Yeah,
just not fun.
my Glock 29 is a here to the wall from me bear defense. Point at the head and pull the trigger. I'm not. You're right. I don't go practice with it enough. Just because my Glock 29 is, it's a lot more recoil, and I can shoot it just fine. My wife, who can shoot the G40 just fine, can't hit crap with the G29. She's scared of the recoil that bad, and she doesn't know it. She won't admit to it, but
It's not that bad. My wife shoots a Colt 1911 45 all day long.
yeah,
I made the mistake of getting her a 380, and she's like, "Well, I don't want to shoot that." I mean, she weighs 100 pounds, and she rocks that freaking
there you
1911.
go. I mean,
See,
it is always a mental thing.
Randy Adams says, "Smash a request, please. Have Chuck on live chat. Another crazy good Alaskan."
Chook,
Oh, Chook.
Chook's Outdoor Adventures. Yeah.
Who's that?
He's one of my buddies. I met him up here. I finally just surpassed him in subscribers. He was always ahead of me by like 3,000 subscribers. But
Do you guys ever
he's
do crossovers?
oh yeah, we do part ones and part twos all the time. It's funny whenever we do one, YouTube will monetize mine and screw him over. So I don't know what it is. Like we did a part one and part two of 6.5 Creedmoor versus 270, which is a stupid comparison. But like my part one got 350,000 views and was monetized, and his part two got 10,000 views and wasn't monetized. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I do this YouTube stuff for just S's and giggles, man. And I don't care about being monetized on those videos. I care about them sending the video out, because if they
yeah,
can't put an ad on it, they just kill it.
yeah.
So when they yell out my video, I don't care. I don't care. I just
So
want it to go out.
one of the things I've found, and this is one of the advice I would give you, if they yellow out your video, take it down, re-upload it, and mark it yellow yourself. Because that
How do
way,
you mark it yellow yourself?
when you go through the choices there of, is my video in like a safe range environment, or does my video show the sale of a gun, or does my video show customization? When you have those choices to mark, if you don't mark the one that automatically makes you green, like my video is safe and I'm in a safe range and stuff like, if you go and mark one of the other ones, it'll make it yellow or possibly not monetized at all. But you can mark it to make it yellow yourself, and then it won't kill the video nearly as bad. If you mark it yellow, they'll probably still put a bunch of ads on it and get their money and just not share it with you. But if they mark it yellow, they kill it. So it's one of the
Yeah,
things.
they marked it yellow. Then I put it on. I always delay my stuff a full day. So if it's yellow, I'll delay it 2 or 3 days and dispute it, and they fix it. They almost always overturn it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just a waste of time, man.
Yeah. Well, that's good that they overturn it. So to answer his other question, my favorite rifle or favorite, he had a favorite handgun and rifle. Who was that?
Yeah, rifle and handgun.
Rifle and handgun. I'm an oddball. My favorite rifle is my Savage 111 in 6.5 by 284, and that's simply because it's the most accurate rifle I have right now. It literally shoots 0.24-inch groups at 100 yards with my hand lens. So I mean, that's that's one of those things where you can basically do whatever you want with that kind of accuracy. You can, my brother-in-law's father-in-law, right? Not my father-in-law. He was teasing me pretty bad about, you were taking your 6.5 by 284 brown bear hunting. I'm like, yeah, it's the most accurate rifle I own, and they have ear holes. So it's like, why not? So
That's funny. In California, I used to go to this range called Angeles Forest, and it was this beautiful outdoor range with 100 lanes to the left, 100 lanes to the right. The ones to the left went all the way out to 800 yards, and it's in this big canyon. It's beautiful, and it's really nice. And there was some long range precision shooters that would go there with the most expensive equipment. And I had my little Remington 700 5R, my little Millet scope, and I could hang with those guys just because I don't know why, but I used to love long range shooting. But these guys would show up with $10,000 accuracy, international, crazy,
you don't need that kind of money to get into long range shooting. My Bergara 6.5 Creedmoor is fantastic out to 6 or 7, 800 yards. I haven't stretched it past that. And it's a $1,000 gun. I have a Nikon Black Force 1000. It's a second focal plane scope.
Mhm.
And you just don't need that to make those kinds of shots. What you need is good chronograph data. You know how fast your bullet is going out of your gun.
Right.
You need good a good scope and drop data, and then you just need to go verify it all. And then yeah, you don't need your little Remington 700 5R. What was it, a 308?
Yeah,
who
it's
needs
308.
yeah,
Out to 600 yards, I can hang with these guys easy. When they stretched it out to 8, that's when the glass really came in.
right,
That's when it got a little.
yeah,
That's when it spread out quite a bit.
yeah. Now I'm a big proponent of putting good glass on your guns, but if all you can afford is a Millet or a Nikon or something like that, which Nikon doesn't make them anymore, or a Vortex, mid-range Vortex, go out and do it, man. Like my Leupold VX5 HD is a massage to my eyeballs. I'll hunt with that thing. That thing's, you know, I've lost several meals and probably a four-wheeler because I bought that thing. But it's like I will hunt with that thing all day long because it's massage for my eyeballs. It's gorgeously bright and clear, but it's a $1,500 scope, but you can get it done with a four, six, $800 scope just as easily. Just,
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like I like I'm reviewing the CZ Checkmate Parrot right now. This gun shoots better than I could ever shoot it. It's unreal how good this pistol shoots,
right.
and it's unreal, unreal. It comes down to the shooter because I shot it, and my groups were like this at 15 yards. Someone else got it. All of his were tucked almost. He was just hitting the same hole over and over at 15 yards.
Oh yeah, CZ makes a great product.
Yeah, their advertisers are fun. They're fantastic. Everyone is talking about CZs now, and they all want a CZ.
Yeah,
5 years ago, that wasn't the case.
yeah. I love CZs. I've always wanted a CZ97 and 10 millimeter, but it's a custom shotgun right now, alongside 10 millimeter CZ97. But
I didn't even know they made a 10 mil.
they make it. I think it's just a custom shotgun.
It sounds
Um,
expensive.
yeah, you're dropping 2 to 3 grand, I'm sure, but you're getting an all steel. The 97 is the 45 version of the 75, right? 75B. And it's
Yeah,
just scaled up. And so it's a 97 frame, and you're getting like 13 or 14 rounds, maybe 15 of 10 millimeter. And they make a long slide version, 6 inches. And it's a traditional rifled, fully supported chamber barrel. It comes out tighter than a than a Wilson Combat. You get to work it some. But
yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah, it's a extremely good gun that they were making there for a while. Um,
So Gort here in the chat says, if you rebarrel a Glock 10 millimeter, make sure the chamber is fully supported. What does that mean? Can you dumb that down for me?
yeah, how about an example? I don't have. Let's see, do I have an example with me? And so here, I happen to have this one sitting next to me. I don't have the other factory barrel sitting next to me. I thought I did. I apologize. Um, so this is my Lone Wolf 9-inch barrel, and when you stick a bullet in there, okay, it's going to be covered all the way to the rim. All the way to the rim. Let's see if I can show that right there.
Yeah, I see
All
it.
the way around. Glocks are known to be so reliable because often right in here, there's a little space where the feed ramp goes just a little bit farther into the chamber. And so that much of the case is not actually supported by the chamber. And so that's you buy a fully supported 10 millimeter Glock barrel for these really, really high pressured rounds. Now, your trade off, and it is a trade off, everything's a trade off with guns, right?
Yeah,
Your trade off is it might be 99.999% reliable instead of 100, whereas a Glock, you can keep shooting all day until the gun's just too dirty to feed anymore. And that's literally hundreds of maybe thousands of rounds with a Glock. Whereas if you put a fully supported chamber in it, it might get too dirty to feed from you dropping it into the water or into the snow here or something like that. Like it could get like you have to take a lot better care of it, or it could get too dirty to feed from just a couple hundred rounds, and you may need to make sure you clean it, which I got to do with
Yeah.
this barrel right now. But
Hey, so let me ask you a question. So you've done gel testing, right?
mhm.
Does the temperature? I heard temperature affects how the gel.
Oh yeah, like the first time I went out and just gel tested in the winter, there wasn't room in my truck for on the inside for the gel, so I put it in the back, and we hit a few bumps. It froze and it cracked the gel, and we still had a pretty good gel testing with it. But there was just a big crack down the gel, and the outside temperature of it was the outside of it was like a crust of the crust of a popsicle that's been in the freezer too long on the outside. Because I mean, it's food stuff, right? Real gelatin is a food product, so it'll crust over
Right.
like that. So I typically don't do any gel testing in the winter anymore. I've tried it in the summer. I got to get like a really good recipe because like clear ballistics is just too expensive to ship here. Like I'm not making that kind of money on YouTube.
Can you make gel? Can you make that stuff at home?
Yeah, and that's all the gel on my channel has been made at home before. And I will say this: if you keep it warm and in the truck in the winter, and you just go put it on the table, it does pretty good. One of my videos, one of my most popular videos was a 6.5 versus 7mm 08, and Chuk and I were actually filming it. We took his truck out there to film it, and nobody was out there shooting that day because it was -15. And we were pretty cold, and the camera batteries didn't last, but the gel actually did very well because we left it in the warm truck until it was
Right.
time, and we didn't turn the truck off. You can hear the truck running in the background of the video because of the sound and quality and stuff. But it was one of those things where it's better to have that stuff warm, and we didn't want to be in our shooting area an hour and a half from civilization with
Too bad you couldn't make like a cast of a mannequin, like the head and torso, and then just pour the gel in there, and then make your own, like like the real fancy ones. I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't seem that hard to make a cast of something. Pour the gel in there, and then you could make that like a human torso one. It'd be pretty cool.
it would be pretty cool. And then you
Heck,
could put,
if it was open on the bottom, you could pour the gel and then put like a giant thing of ketchup down the middle of it, so you could see it go right through the body.
mhm.
I have a
Yeah,
lot of free time. I think of a lot of random shit. Sorry, guys.
yeah. No, I've been thinking about that myself as well. Mainly because I'd want to be like something like the rounds you were showing. Are they good once they hit a barrier like sheetrock? What are they going to do on the other side of sheetrock? Like that would be a great test. So, but
Like interior doors versus exterior doors. Like, what would it do? Like, I'm dying to put maybe a wall of sheetrock, an exterior door, or an interior door, and then shoot, and then put the gel block behind it. See if it'll go through both those into the gel block. See what it would do.
absolutely.
You know.
Um, hmm Do let's see. All right, Gort has a good point. Hot belly spent brass is the symptom of an unsupported chamber. What that means is when you go to reload 10mm, which I reloaded a bunch of 10mm over the break. I've tested some of it. I got to test all of it.
Do you still reload most of your ammo or no?
Right now I do because the ammo is so hard to get. And I was investing in a bunch of reloading stuff even before I bought a house where I could have it. Because I saw how I saw the which way the wind was blowing, and I've been through the ammo crises twice before, so it's like, yeah, we're gonna start into hand loading, and I like hand loading because you can take bullets that were meant for something else and load them in this. But yeah, I do most of my hand loads right now. I still test a lot of factory 10mm loads. Like I got this week stuff from Ammo Inc. coming up on the channel. I call it weak stuff because it is.
No bueno.
Yeah, it's a 180 grain. It's supposed to be going 11.95, and even out of my 9-inch barrel, it didn't get a light 1195.
So
So
you know what I've noticed. So I've been shooting. I added it up. I spent probably about $9,000 on ammo this last year, just
mhm.
shooting tons and tons of ammo. And I noticed this last few months, all these 9mm. I've had maybe 15 light primer strikes where I've had like 15 duds, and this is well-known ammo, but the quality, the QC has really gone to hell with a lot of these companies.
Yeah. I would imagine they're loading it as fast as they can get it out, that you're going to see some problems like that. And I mean, I've shot PMC for a long time, and I've only had 2 light primer strikes in like 10,000 rounds. So
I love PMC, man.
yeah, I love PMC, and that was with a rifle that was questionable at the time. It could have been the rifle's fault. But they did not re-hit in another rifle. So
I had some MagTech, and the 10mm wouldn't seat right. And I'm like, that's odd. That's odd. And then I put it in another. I had three 1911 10 mil. When it go in the first one, I go, that's weird. When it go in the second one, I was like, that's not weird. The case was actually too big, and it was getting stuck in there. It was too big for the chamber. And
mhm.
that box had 3 or 4 of those in it where they were just too big. It wouldn't go all the way into battery.
Sounds like the round might not have been crimped correctly. 10 millimeter requires a crimp, and so I don't know if you know anything about reloading handgun ammo.
Nope.
There's essentially 3 stages. And YouTube will probably demonetize this chat because of this. But
Sweet.
yeah, you have one where you resize the ammo, and it takes the stretched piece of brass and straightens it up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right, and takes the primer out, and then you do various work on the brass, but then you run it through again a case mouth expander that expands the case mouth so that the bullet can actually go in without crushing the case. And this is true for all straight walled cartridges, whether they're rifle or handgun, right? 4570, for example, does the same thing. Um, and then then you seat the bullet. Well, with that case mouth still open a little bit, 10 millimeter needs a crimp. Now, 9 millimeter and 45 don't really need that much of a crimp. You can crimp them. That's probably a good thing to put a light crimp on them. But in the owner's manual for 45, it says don't put a crimp on it. But 10 millimeter, it says it needs a light to medium crimp. And so you got to push that bullet, that case mouth expanded. And if they didn't do that or didn't run a few through them, then that bullet would be a little bit too wide right around where the casing meets the bullet, and it wouldn't go all the way in.
Yeah,
So,
I had in that box, not to poo-poo on MagTech, because until that box, it was always a super reliable ammo.
mhm.
But man,
Yeah,
that half that box was too big for the chamber. I ended up just chucking it down the range. You can't shoot it.
yeah. I always, whenever something like that happens, even if the company's not going to make it right and send me more ammo, I want them to know, hey, here's the lot number, here's what I experienced, and I always give them a call on that, because they're not going to get better at it. They're not going to know there's a problem unless you report it.
I
Um,
should have done that.
yeah,
Hindsight's 2020.
yeah. Always keep the box, keep the lot number when there's a problem with the ammo. So is what it is.
Jay Curry said, I had some PFC and 357 Magnum that did not work well. I had several issues, although every other caliber I have ever used PMC. I used to buy all my PMC through AIM Surplus because they would always have really solid sales. And man, I would buy the thousands of rounds of 5.56.
Yeah.
Fluffy says he regrets not getting into reloading. I know it. I shoot enough now where I think it would be worth my time.
Let me say this though. You reload because you enjoy it. Okay. You reload
It's like
because
therapeutic, right?
yeah, it can be therapeutic. It can be frustrating too. Um, you reload because you like the results from the ammo. Like my 6.5 by 284 is my favorite rifle. It's odd caliber because I'm an odd guy, but um, it's it's getting quarter-inch, half-inch for my reloads. But there's only one factory ammo it gets close to an inch with. All the factory ammo, I was going to trade the gun, sell the gun to my cameraman, and then I ended up buying him a 6.5 PRC because I didn't feel I didn't feel like didn't want to break my words because I wanted to keep that gun, but it would not shoot with factory ammo.
You got
And
a cameraman?
I got a guy who goes with me a lot. He was there at IRAC
Ah.
88. I don't know. He was with me there, and I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah,
you.
yeah, I met him.
So yeah, Jason, he's a good guy, but I don't pay him. I just buy him free stuff. Um,
Hey, it's
and
fair trade.
yeah, and well, he goes out there, and we usually take his truck. I put gas in it, and we'll go out to our shooting location, which he showed me. Um, and nobody else is out there, and so we'll go out there and we'll shoot, and he'll run all the cameras, and he'll get some fun time shooting some cool stuff, and then uh but he's out there with me for like 20% of the work. And editing my videos is like a 3 hour
Yeah.
process, 4 hour process per video. And
I will
so
say I'm glad you took your intro down from 21 seconds to 8 seconds. It's 8 or 9 seconds now.
no, it's still the 21-second
Is
thing.
it? That's a long intro, man.
Well, when I do a full length video, because I write all that music. um and so
Oh,
for
no
me,
kidding. I thought you stole it from like Discovery.
no, no, I actually have a channel where I write all my music. It's called my last name's Bost, Bost. It's called Bost Custom Music Writing. I do like weddings and lullabies for new parents and stuff like that. So um
What?
yeah, I write a lot of classical music, church music, stuff like that. The video you pulled the screenshot from me, the where I'm holding up my rifle, which is a great shot, by the way.
That's a
That was a
great
good.
shot.
Yeah, that's where I'm talking about my 6.5 Creedmoor right in that video. I wrote all the music to that, like, and that's my computer program playing it all of that back. Um,
The
and I
multi-dimensional facets of
yeah,
Alaskan
I
Ballistics.
literally go into a program that has sheet music and type in each note of old read the sheet music type program, and it plays it back. Working on I'm working on redoing my first symphony from high school, but I've been working on that for like 4 years now. So it's is what it is. But I really enjoy that. I wish I could make more videos with that, but it's just so time consuming, and family, and my gun channel's fairly successful now, which I appreciate it to everybody. And like if I could, I would sit and write music all day if I could. I can make money from it, but I can't.
Yeah.
So I still got to have a day job, and I still got to do the
Are you
gun.
gonna? Are you? Do you Because I know you don't travel a whole lot. Because for you, it's pretty pricey to come down all the way from Alaska. Are you doing SHOT Show?
No, right now we need a new roof on the house and a new car and that kind of thing. So that
Priority.
stuff's gonna wait for a couple of years. I might go to Iraq Veteran 88 in the fall. I only made the spring one, and Pat was teasing me about going, and then I talked to my wife. I go, I've been trying to make this event for years. Um, I only make the spring. They're having it in the spring. I need to go in the spring because I'm a school teacher and a football coach. There's no way I'm getting off in the fall to go early October. Um, so
Yeah,
that's that.
that was a great event. A lot of cool people. But Springfield Armory just announced as of 4:45 today that they are not going to SHOT Show. So Springfield Armory is not going. SIG is not going.
Mm.
CMMG is not going. So it's pros and cons. It's pros and
Those
cons.
guys are so big though. Do they really have to go? I mean, it's like one of those things where, I mean, I'm not I'm not a person who's like thinking that don't wear a mask and all that kind of stuff. But like, why would you? COVID's a real disease. Like, and why would you risk your employees traveling when? Because I've had it and got over it, and
Same.
it was touch and go there for a little bit. So, like it's real. Why would you risk your employees getting that when you're so big? You don't need Shot Show. Those companies don't
They
need Shot.
really don't need SHOT Show.
Shot
But
Show
what's
needs
cool
them.
is if you do go, and there's a lot of, there's probably like 20-30% attrition rate for creators that are not going. Um,
Mhm.
so whoever does go, those little companies are really going to shine because they got to fill that content with something.
Yeah, and I plan on going at some point. Um, but I'm just it's going to be a few years. That's the one thing about living in Alaska. On the one hand, you have this freedom where almost all of the land is publicly owned land, and you can just go walk out that way if you want to. Go climb that mountain, or go climb that mountain, or go walk this trail.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're really free, and you can drive for hours and see these gorgeous sights for hours. But the other thing is like you got Canada on that side, you can't take your guns through, and you got to fly into Seattle or Portland, you can't take your guns through as much anymore. So like it's one of those things where it's hard to it's hard. You do feel kind of trapped here. Like the road system, like Texas has tens of thousands of more miles, maybe hundreds of thousands more miles of roads than Alaska has, because our roads only go to Fairbanks, and then it's a dirt road to the north coast, and there's no coast, there's no road that goes west of that road. So it's like you might be able to travel a few miles west, but once you're on the road system, it's the eastern half of the state, and even then, the spaces in between the roads are like the size of West Virginia. So it's like it's huge. And so like you can't just go explore anywhere you want to. There's not all these towns you can drive to and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty much you're in Anchorage, you're in Fairbanks, you get on a plane to Juneau or plane to some other town, and like that's that. And it's
Yeah.
it's kind of
Because you had a podcast you did about prepping in Alaska, which I liked. I liked that one quite a bit.
Mhm.
And I think you made the point where like, hey, if you're not ready, where are you going to go get all this fruit and stuff? It's not, none of that's grown in Alaska. You just can't get avocados in Alaska. You can't get all this fresh fruit. So it's going to be just meat and beans and rice. I mean, there's not a lot of options.
Now, that being said, we have a ton of high bush mountain berries and low bush mountain berries that you can go climb a mountain the right time of year in the right spot and find blueberries. And there was one year I was caribou hunting, and in my spot, I only took a few bags of nuts and a few things of jerky, and I literally ate blueberries, jerky, and nuts the whole time I was caribou hunting. Like I have a special diet. I'm a celiac with IBS disease. There's a lot of things I can't eat, and so that was like fresh fruit and nuts, and just drink water, and I was good. So that's that. I think J.R. Stewart. So if I move to Alaska, it's going to be hard to take my collection. Absolutely yes. So if I move from Alaska, I would be selling a lot of my collection. And it's just simply and buying it back when I could afford to, saving some of that money to buy it back somewhere else. And the reason why I say this is my the ammo is the hard thing to take. Is I got all these ammo cans full of ammo that I've hand loaded and collected over the years, and like that would be the hard thing to take. A lot of people ship their firearms. You can carry certain guns through Canada, but it's going to be like bolt action rifles and pump action shotguns. No
What is
ban.
the concealed carry law up there? Can you conceal carry in Alaska?
Oh yeah, no permit necessary.
What is the politics up there like?
It's a pretty purple state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot like other places where the big city and the poorest parts of the country are Democrat, and then like the suburbs and the richer parts of the city are Republican. It's a lot like that. It's a very, very purple state. There's a lot of it, like people couldn't get teaching jobs in California from the housing collapse, so they moved up to Alaska, and that was true with me. My divorce happened during the tail end of the housing collapse. There was no teaching jobs, and I was like, "Where are their teaching jobs? Alaska has them. Let me go to Alaska." There are a lot of liberals here that would love to see our house. We had an independent governor who was a liberal. We've had all of our Democrats run as pro-gun Democrats, even though they're probably not pro-gun.
They're
But
not.
they all run at it, because if they don't, they know they're not going to get elected. There is that part. There's always an Alaska succession party on the ballot, which is interesting. Which I'm a big proponent of. The red areas of the country should go ahead and succeed from the blue areas, and let's just
Hey man, I'm in Texas. You're not telling me anything different.
Yep.
I mean,
I think Texas through Alberta to Alaska to through the Northwest Territories and British Columbia should all succeed from the USA and Canada and become one country, Texas through Alaska.
Well, Texas has the infrastructure. They have the port. They have the oil and gas. I mean, they have the farming. Texas could be absolutely 100% self-sufficient.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
And so could most of the other states. If it was a big Republic of Texas that included Nebraska, Oklahoma, Kansas, and all the way up through Alaska, and then went eastward to like Mississippi because they would join, and would probably take Colorado and Idaho, and or maybe
It'll never happen. It'll never happen. I mean, look, I grew up as far left as you could get. I couldn't turn right if I wanted to. Only after I moved to Texas and woke up, then I was like, oh, hey, I can think for myself. It's amazing how that works. But it'll never happen. Those states, the red states, will be absolutely broke in no time, without all the subsidies and everything.
Well, here's where I would argue with that. Technically, we're absolutely broke already, though. I mean,
100%.
If you look at the national debt versus what we're going with, we are absolutely broke.
Don't worry about it. We can always print more money.
Yeah, exactly. That has no.
Oh, look at this. We got a celebrity in the chat, folks. Wow.
Yeah, Mr. Big Kid.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah. Hey, don't call him a celebrity too much. We don't want to grease his head to fit through the door. No, I'm kidding. He's a nice guy.
Really nice guy. He's a nice guy. I voted for you, Mr. Big Kid.
Yeah. I think I voted for you. I don't remember it.
I just go on there and vote for whoever. I don't care.
So Randy Adams wants to know, does caribou taste like chicken? No, caribou tastes like caribou. You have to try it for yourself.
Is it distinctly different? Is it different than like elk? I've had elk meat.
Yes. It has a kind of a nastier smell than elk meat, so you have to kind of get used to it. But it's delicious. So.
No kid. How do you? It's funny. I watch like Joe Rogan and all this stuff. I watch all these like the Meat Eater. I love that Meat Eater show. And when he packs out the meat, it's like, holy crap, man. They just throw it in a sack and they got to make a couple of trips. There's so much meat on those animals.
Caribou's not too bad. Usually it's about 2 trips. I've only carried one out on my back. So with my leg issues, here's what I did is I bought pack rafts. And if you're a prepper or like a wilderness survival guy, you got to have a pack raft. They're like amazing. But I have 2 alpaca pack rafts and,
a pack raft?
Pack raft. They are rafts that are extremely durable and lightweight, so that you can pack them in on your backpack and go across any body of water just about. They have them for whitewater rafting all the way to just lake stuff if you want to do that. And mine are more in the in-between. Like I could go down to class 2 and be okay. But that's that.
That's crazy.
I will walk in with 70 pounds on my back where I like to caribou hunt, and I walk out with 0 pounds on my back because I just float out. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You gotta find out what works for you, of course. I would love to, hunt from a 4-wheeler and stuff like that, like a lot of people do, but it's actually pretty crowded in places where you can hunt from a 4-wheeler. There's a lot of people doing it. Again, because like I was telling you, the road system only goes certain places. If you're trying to access, 4-wheelers, access game from a 4-wheeler, there's only so many places you can park your truck. So that's So what was it? Gort was saying something here.
Let's see. Shooting Gallery New England says, "How you feeling?" to Mr. Big Kid. Oh, Mr. Big Kid, you got the coof? Uh-oh.
I hope you feel better, man.
It hit me pretty hard, but then again, I'm in horrible shape, so I expected it.
Yeah. So we have 2 doctors up here that will do what Trump recommended for the coof, which is the ivermectin and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not a Trump fan, but and it became political. None of the pharmacies up here, because they all wanted to push the vaccine, would actually do the prescription. We had to call around to 3 different places, and finally got me half a prescription of ivermectin, and it did it. So yeah,
it's ridiculous how they politicized it. Is so dumb. Look, if you want to take the shot, take the shot. If you don't. Easy as that. And I don't know why they're complaining anyway. Like all my left-wing relatives are complaining, oh, you're just going to die. You hate us anyway. So what's your point?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're putting my health at risk. Why? You have the coup. You have the shot. You got the boosters and you're still getting sick.
Yeah.
And this other guy had a good point too. And he goes, well, oh, now they're saying that it makes the symptoms less if you already have the shot, the booster. That's not backed up by any science whatsoever.
No, it is not.
So I know someone right now, triple vax, down with Rona.
I know some. I had before you got the booster. He was elderly and not in good health. I will say that, but he was fully vaccinated and died from COVID. My neighbor. So
look, it's I think it's like, hey, it's Chinese Mother Nature.
it's lab grown Mother Nature. I still think it's grown in a lab. So
100%.
It does look like Mr. Big Kid had the Rona. So
yeah, I know. Get well, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too, this guy, Tim Pool, it's a very good podcast. Tim Pool's podcast.
Yeah,
listen to it. He had a guy on there saying all the DNA swabs that they're taking out of everybody to get tested, it's all going to labs in China, all the DNA. So now when they make something really cool, they can make it specific to our DNA in the US. So way to go, US. Way to go.
Yep. But yeah, it looks like you really did have the Rona, Mr. Big Kid here. So get better, brother. He's one of my favorite dudes in YouTube. He's a good guy.
100%.
Yep. And yeah, so get better. And hey, one thing about having Corona is like you'll feel like you have it again like 3 weeks later. You'll just have a bad day where you feel down. And like 6 weeks later, or like 5 weeks later, or 5.5 weeks later, like you'll do that. So just be prepared for that where you think you'll have it again and you don't. But it's one of those things. I think I was talking about that with Clovertack. He was like, man, it's 6 months later and I can just have a day where I'm down and bad and I feel tired all of a sudden and exhausted. So yeah, takes a while to get out there. So
yeah, I had it really bad for 2 weeks and it was no respiratory, no cough at all.
Mm-hmm.
No respiratory, even though I have asthma. I have like really bad asthma.
Right.
But I had the body aches and I had the lack of energy, man. It was absolutely killing me.
Mm-hmm.
And so my genius idea said, hey, I got body aches. Let's take a really hot bath after, I'm already dehydrated. Let's take a hot bath for an hour. Take a hot bath, get out, and I fall on the floor and I lay there for like 5 hours, man. I couldn't move. And I kept thinking in my mind, I was like, God, is this how I'm going to go out with my goodies hanging out on the bathroom floor, Elvis Presley style? Horrible way to go out.
Oh man, he was couch bound all through Christmas. Man, wish I had known. I would have sent you some stuff, Mr. Big Kid. Get that throat coat tea, man. That throat coat tea from the natural section of like Kroger or Fred Meyer's or someplace like that. That throat coat tea, man. Some honey and some lemonade in it, man.
For me, it's like, man, I know vitamin D is good, so I would, no kidding, I would almost crawl out my back door and lay on the patio for about an hour a day and just kind of crawl back in the house. Like vitamin D, lots of water.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
And we got it at a time of year where it was pretty rainy and like I had to take my vitamin D, but I had been taking vitamin D for over a month and a half beforehand because my vitamin D levels were so low. My doctor told me that's probably the reason why you're going to survive this. So like I had some blood work done and they said, your vitamin D levels are non-existent. I want you taking 20,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. And so I started doing that and I started taking that. And then I started taking just a little bit less because it was causing me not to sleep. And, but then I got hit with Corona and it was that. So.
Yeah, I was lucky. I didn't get any of the coughing, no respiratory symptoms at all. I was really lucky. But, I do international logistics. And as soon as I started closing up some parts of the ports in China, I just started inhaling vitamins every day. Vitamin D, vitamin B, B12, all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that probably helped me out quite a bit. But I didn't, we haven't changed our lifestyle at all. If you go to our side of Houston, Texas, you might see one person with a mask.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're in their car by themselves, which I still don't get.
Yeah. I'll wear a mask. It doesn't bother me. I have to wear a mask at school still because I'm a school teacher. And it doesn't really bother me because the mask makes me look prettier. Because I'm pretty ugly. So that's what I've been told by a lot of people. So, anything I can do to help people out. So,
No, I mean, a mask for me is whatever. Like, if a store wants me to wear it, I guess I'll run in if I have to do it. But I really would rather not.
yeah, my thing is, hey, if it gives a 5% chance of somebody else not catching the disease from me, then I'll wear it. Yeah, no big deal. It's kind of like looking both ways before you cross the street and crossing at a crosswalk. Just be a good citizen kind of thing. But if you really don't want to wear it, I understand. It's America. Don't wear it. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, let's see. Steve D, you're 100% spot on. I got over it about 6, 7 weeks later. Felt sick again for 2 days.
Hmm.
Interesting.
And it's not even the sick part; it's the downing part. Like you just feel like down and run down and almost depressed, just for a day or two, and you're like, I'm over this. So
Chris has it right. Best thing we can do is exercise, get outside, eat healthy, and be active. That's what
absolutely.
really kind of pisses me off about all this stuff. No one's saying to people like me, hey, fatty, why don't you put that cheeseburger down, run around the block and lose some weight, you big fat fatty? And it's like, I could, So I joined the gym. When I saw that scale hit 308, I was like, oh my God. It's one of my favorite calibers, but I don't want it to be my weight.
No, no.
So I want to get
223 is better for that.
I want to get, yeah, I'd rather go to 223. I'd be
Yeah,
totally happy at that.
at 204 Ruger's better. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But no one's telling any of these people like me that are overweight, you know, you know what? Just make better choices. Take your vitamins. I didn't change my diet at all, but I was taking a ton of vitamins, and I think that's what helped me out quite a bit.
Yep.
See, Mr. Big is I'm taking 10,000 IU of vitamin D right now. Holy smokes.
Yep.
Are you spacing that out? I hope you're spacing out throughout the day. If you take it all at once, you're going to pee it all out.
And you're gonna stay up all night.
Yeah. And if you keep taking that, you're going to turn orange. You're going to start glowing. D3,
Yep.
zinc. Yeah, zinc is super important too.
Big Johnson's Guns and Gear is a great channel, a good friend here on YouTube. Y'all make sure you check him out. He's a good guy too.
Yeah.
So
Jeffrey Light, what's up, buddy? Tactical girth is important. I don't know. Tactical girth is important.
yeah. Just think about all that extra ballistics gelatin you got right there to stop a bullet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do it right.
J30's right. Fresh air kills most viruses. So I back up to a preserve. For me, it's the woods, right? There's deer back there. It's the woods. Everyone else in Texas, it's just a preserve. It's like a park, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's like Wild Kingdom. I grew up in the city. There's squirrels. It's freaking cool.
Sure.
So I go out there when I had COVID. As soon as I got it, I went out there and I just said, all right, just started getting a bunch of sun, taking my vitamins, drinking tons of water, tons of juices. It was all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
3 times a day. That's awesome. B noise. Oh, the one and only 2A EDU.
Yep.
What's up, buddy? Got royalty in the house tonight. Shooting gallery says everyone needs tactical girth. I don't know. So did you grow up hunting and shooting and all that?
Yes, I grew up hunting and shooting. I shot my first firearm when I was 5 years old when my dad held the gun and let me pull the trigger at a crow's nest. And I fired his 12 gauge shotgun while we were squirrel hunting in Tennessee on my grandfather's old place. But like then he graduated me up to a 22 and a little 20 gauge single shot hunting a little bit, and then eventually got into deer hunting and got all that. And so yeah, I grew up hunting. I love hunting. The guns were like a natural exploration of hunting. So all the tactical stuff that I like is, and I've taken deer with an AR-15. Anybody that says they can't do it, that means they suck and they can't put their bullet right there, which is where I put it for those deer, and they went straight down.
Right.
But like all of that is just from, like, I grew up hunting. Like I said, my dad used to hand me the Remington catalog back when Remington was good in the 1990s, and I would go to the back section and look at all the numbers for the different calibers and stuff like that. So,
Looks like Big Johnson wants to start a fight with you.
oh, he's always trying to do that. 22 LR is better than 10 millimeter. I tell you what, you come up here, and I will let you walk the power line from my house to the next city with salmon around your neck, and all you carry is a 22, and I'll carry a 10 millimeter. Let's see. I'll do the same thing, and whoever arrives first and intact,
How often do you see bear up there? Do you see him like just wandering around?
Not as often anymore. No. I'll see.
I know you put a video of like a moose walking through the neighborhood.
Yeah, moose walking through the neighborhood. I had a moose. I put up a video early in the channel. A moose literally outside my apartment door.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, and I don't see, where I live now is actually farther out of the city, and I was in the city when I put those up, and then I actually don't see near as much wildlife here as I thought I would. I see them on the main road going to our neighborhood a lot. I think I've seen 2 or 3 bear along that main road, and like 7 or 8 moose. We see a ton of moose. I'll see the main highway isn't too far. I've seen 4 or 5 bear this summer on it. They were all small though.
Man, that's wild. So it's funny. Everyone here says, "Hey, man, if the FUBAR ever happens, the shit hits the fan, I'll just go out in the woods and hunt my food." I'm like, really? Because you and 10,000 other people are going to do that.
Yeah, no.
At least in Alaska, you can go probably bag a bunch of meat pretty quick.
Yeah, at least you could bag a moose or a bear or black bear. Black bear meat's actually pretty good before they get on salmon. If you've shot one in the middle of summer when they're eating salmon out of the river, no good. But if you get one in the springtime
They're eating
or in
berries,
the fall,
right?
yeah, springtime or in the fall when they're eating berries. So that's that. Like right where I am, I could go bag a black bear or a moose. There's not a lot of caribou where I'm at. I might be able to get a Dall sheep if I wanted to climb the mountain high enough. It would actually be legal during regular hunting, but if I were, if it were, because I think once it gets up to 2,000 feet where I am, it's far enough back it becomes a management area type area. Yeah. And so like I have this narrow strip between my neighborhood and 2,000 feet that I can hunt, which is pretty cool.
That's very cool. Real quick in the chat, 2A-EDU, did you know that you won a Smashy Award from my last live stream a couple days ago? That's right, buddy. You won a Smashy Award. So make sure you check out that stream. I think it's around the 14 or 15 minute mark.
I'm going to have to plug in my computer. Give me a second.
Uh-oh. I thought we were switching to the OnlyFans. Just kidding. Just kidding. To a EDU. I'm going to be up in Michigan in first week of April. I'm going to be up in Michigan first week of April for a week. So hopefully it's not cold and still snowing up there. So I'm going to go hang out. Uh-oh. Sounds like he's loading a gun, folks. This is interesting.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn off my mic. My bad.
Oh, it's all right. Just loading some weapons in the off screen.
Well, can't show it live on YouTube, but no, I think
I
stepped on something.
That's when you have too many guns. Like I can look around right now, and I'm gonna do a video tomorrow with this one, I have my carry here, and I got 2 down there ready to go. I'm gonna go shoot tomorrow and film. I only got a few minutes to film tomorrow, like 20, 30 minutes. So I'm just going to run in the range, try and film something, which filming in an indoor range absolutely sucks, but it's all we got sometimes. So,
Yeah.
and some of your early videos, you were at an outdoor range and you were trying to talk, and you could tell every halfway through every sentence, it was a gunshot. And it's tough, man. It is really tough.
Yeah, I've fortunately found some public land that we go shoot on, but it only allows me to shoot 60 yards, which is like a deer stand distance for the rifles. But
That's not bad.
no, no, I can shoot 20, 25 yards with handguns, 60 yards with rifles. The way we set it up out there, and
Nice.
so we're hoping to find another place. I got a friend in Fairbanks who has a good little channel as well. And he's going to let me shoot 700, 800, 900 yards out there at a range with him. We're going to do some like 500-yard ballistics gel tests in the summer, hopefully. But I got a new baby coming this summer, so it may not happen at all. So
So a new baby, do you know if it's a boy or a girl?
not yet. We find out in the next few weeks.
And how many is this going to make it?
Two.
Oh, you already have a boy girl?
I already have a boy. His name's Barrett.
Nice.
I always wanted a Barrett, so that was the only way I was getting one. And then, and it's less for naming them after the rifle and more after naming them for Ronnie Barrett, who, wouldn't sell to the state of California after California banned 50 caliber BMGs for its citizens.
Yeah, I was still there when he did that. He was like, "Screw you guys, I'm out."
Mm-hmm. So I like that. So is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't need their money anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Let's check the chat. Let's check the Smash Tools did know he got a Smashy. He did? Oh, man. So if you didn't know, I did this silly little award thing where I was just kind of bored one day. And I'm like, I didn't get picked for any kind of awards. So I didn't, I got nominated, but no one picked me. So I said, fuck it. I mean, screw it. I'll just do my own awards.
Nice.
Let's see. I thought it was funny.
Got a lot. Congratulations. Thank you, Big Johnson, and thank you, Randy.
Real quick, again, folks, if you're not a subscriber to Alaskan Ballistics, please subscribe to his channel. I just put a link in the description. It's a no-nonsense channel, and you do take requests. I've seen you take requests. So if you want, to know what caliber shoots out of what gun, he does do requests on occasion.
Yeah, it's just so hard here because we can't order ammo online. And it's not any state law like California, it's federal exportation laws. And so we literally can't get ammo. If we order it online, it has to be shipped to a importer exporter in Seattle, and they charge another shipping fee, quite a big one. So
crazy.
Yeah, so like all of our stores get it shipped from those importer exporters, and they get so much of it shipped that the price difference between a 9mm box here and a 9mm box there is negligible. Like I might pay $2 more, or I might pay $1 more. I may not pay anything more. Back before all this crap happened with the ammo prices. But if you want to order something specific online, like when I was done with IV 88, we stayed a couple extra days. We visited friends and relatives and stuff in Georgia. And when I was done, we went around to tons of gun stores, and I was looking for any type of ammo that was unique that I couldn't get in Alaska so that I could have it on the channel.
Oh, man. Did you go to True Prep?
No, I didn't.
God, I love that store, man. I love that store. Real quick, we got a $5 super chat from 2AEDU giving Alaskan Ballistics a shout out. I'll Venmo you $2.50.
You don't have to do that. YouTube's going to take $1.50 of that. You know that.
I know. Chris Gavlik has a good question for you. Okay. Alaskan Ballistics, what do you think about Underwood 10mm Extreme Hunter Penetrator versus hardcast for bear defense / or hog defense for us Texas boys?
I'm going to say that while the Extreme Penetrator actually performs better in my redneck science tests, as far as foot-pounds of energy and penetration. It's not so much better that if all you that the hard cast is like $20 cheaper a box. Like I literally bought a box of hard cast the other day, and it was, I'm looking to see if I have it here with me. I don't. But it was like 31.99, and the extreme penetrators were like 42 or 52.99 or 37.99 or something like that. I've seen them as low as 37.99, as high as 52.99 for 10 millimeter.
That's
Um,
crazy.
and so I would say if you can afford to run it hardcast now, if you haven't rebarreled your Glock, and even with the extreme penetrators, with a lot of the nuclear 10 millimeter rounds, go get us a fully supported chamber. Yes, can you get away with a non-fully supported chamber? Sure, go get a fully supported chamber. You know, extreme penetrators are going to run better in your standard Glock barrels, but if you want a fully supported, go get a KKM barrel, and that way you don't have to really worry about it. So if you already have a gun like a Springfield XDM that can run hard cast out of the box because it's traditional rifling and a fully supported chamber out of the box, and that's the one thing that, not the one thing, but one of the best things about the Springfield XDM over the Glocks, and I'm a Glock fanboy. Um, like then yeah, go get hardcast. So um, I get a lot of hardcasts. So um, I think we have a few, like I carry ammo. This is bad because I mix a lot of my carry ammo this way, but my carry ammo is usually all left over from stuff that worked on my tests. So
Yeah.
in 9 millimeter, I'll carry Federal HST plus Ps, but there might be a 124 grain Spear Gold Dot in the same magazine, or a 124 grain
Oh
Hornady
man.
XTP in the same magazine. Point of impact's not that much different, and my point is, I think I have like 4 or 5 extreme penetrators in the Glock 40, and then the rest of it's hardcast. In the Glock 29, I have the Buffalo Bore monometals, and you might want to look at those. They're called the Dangerous Game Series monometals, and they're not actually all copper. I forgot what they are. I don't think they're brass. Maybe they all are all copper. I don't know, but they're just a solid metal, like hardcast being a solid piece of lead. They're just a solid metal, and can't go as fast because they're longer, and you can't put as much powder in them. But boy, did they penetrate well. So I've got a video on those as well. But you might not just look at extreme penetrators. You might also look at the monometals. You might look at the hardcast. They all do well. So
I've never even heard of hardcast until this conversation. So there are gaps in my gun education I try and fill. Thank you for that. Real quick in the chat, 2ADU says he's driving 3 lever guns to his shop right now. I hope to see some videos on those, buddy. Gort says Barstow makes a great Glock 10 millimeter barrel too. Then Chris comes with, I've been carrying Federal 200 grain hardcast for hogs up at my farm with G29 and stock barrel. Nice. And then right here, Dave's Archive, $5. Appreciate that, Dave. Really do appreciate that.
Yeah. I'd go back to him with a KKM barrel. KKM is a custom order shop, so they're always out of stock. Like you need to put in a custom order. You need to tell them on the custom order to make sure that it's the feed ramp is made for wide bullets, because they do a narrow feed ramp for the tightness of the chamber, and so you need to tell them to widen it out a little bit. But yeah, they're made to order. So right now you can order a Glock 29 barrel. It's out of stock, but it takes 10 weeks. They make it to order. Like, so when I ordered mine back before all this mess happened, when I made it for mine, ordered for mine, it was still 3 or 4 weeks custom barrel. They make it when you order it. Not it's not fast food. It's definitely sit down restaurant, so.
Yeah, 4 weeks isn't that bad of a wait though.
No, but it's 10 weeks now, I think.
Oh, wow. That kind of sucks. Appreciate the info. Just ordered some Underwood penetrators and was wondering if I should switch. Nice.
Let me know how they work. I like comment in one of my videos if one works better on hogs than the other. I know a lot of hogs get taken by that 200 grain 10 millimeter hard cast from Underwood. That 200 grain is a nice sweet spot because you get a lot of energy because of the speed. And one thing about the Underwood is they have the coated hard cast, so it's a little safer in stock barrels. Instead of the
what's the price per box on a 10 millimeter hard cast?
$30 a box of 20. So not bad in today's market. I mean,
It's not horrible.
No, it's not horrible in today's market. Whereas a box, you can pay $50 or more for the extreme penetrators because they're a CNC machine bullet. They're all copper made by high defense. So.
All right. So before Alaskan Ballistics goes, does anybody else have a question in the chat? Because I'm taking notes here. I'm learning just like everyone else. This is good information. 2A says hard cast usually.
2A EDU said he just bought. Yeah. Higher antimony content in lead. So the lead has got chemicals in it to make it harder, including zinc. He says he just bought 3 boxes of HSM 10 millimeter today. I have done a chronograph test on that. They load it like pretty weak, just so you know. The HSM. I would it's a little bit farther up in the chat, I guess, but yeah.
Let's see. Fluffy says he has some 200 grain hard case from Underwood somewhere, and that's how it is. I mean, I got ammo all over the house. I thought I struck gold the other day. I found 2 boxes of 10 millimeter, and I was like, man, I didn't even know I had that.
Yeah, it's always good. I put a meme on it on Instagram. One time I found a box with 12 rounds of 9 millimeter in my truck under the seat. And so I put a meme on it and I said I was going to sell it for like $3 million on Cheaper Than Dirt. So
I will not buy anything from Cheaper Than Dirt. Never again. I will not support those guys.
Federal
nice.
Hardcast for $42 for a box of 20. I didn't even know Federal was making hardcast until recently. Yeah. HSM was all my local gun store shop had in the 2AU. Yeah, I understand that. So
yeah. So real quick, what's in store for your channel in 2022? You're saving for a roof and you're saving for a 4-wheeler. So what can we expect in the next couple months from your channel?
Well, right now I'm still doing like the redneck science testing and chronograph thing. I plan on doing a lot more versus videos. They tend to do better. So I'm going to do like 12 gauge versus 20 gauge for home defense. I'm going to do 12 gauge versus 20 gauge for bear defense. I'm going to do like 12
bear
gauge
defense ones. I think do real well.
They do very well. I'm going to do 12 gauge versus 45-70 for bear defense. I'm going to do some 10 millimeter versus 357. Those always do well. Those always get 50, 60, 70,000 views. I've got some for bear defense and some for like just regular home defense and 10 millimeter versus 357 Magnum. And then I've got a ton of 9 millimeter stuff I'm going to do. Some hand loads. I've hand loaded XTPs in 90 grain, 115 grain, 124 grain, and 147 grain. And so I'm going to do like a ballistics gel with them once it gets a little warmer. And once I find a place to make ballistics gel with I not ruin my wife's kitchen. And so she just walked by. I had to say that.
I totally understand.
Yeah. So we got a lot coming up on the channel. Me and my cameraman have decided for ease of use, we're going to do mostly handguns in the winter and or bear defense distances for 12 gauge or 45-70 or something. And then do more of the rifle stuff in the summer because we can drive and not have to carry everything in pack sleds and snowshoes out to where we shoot. In the summer, we can just drive everything to the table. So back. So instead of dragging everything 60 yards in the winter, we're gonna do that. So,
man, that sounds cold. Like I don't know. I went out to the outdoor range and it was like 27. And I was like, man, it's too cold to shoot today.
Now I will say this. Let me say this though. So Texas, I grew up in Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi was bad. If it gets below 40 degrees and it's humid, it actually feels colder than it really is. Like just that humidity makes all that heat in
Yeah.
the summer come up. It makes it feel colder in the winter. If it's humid, below 40 degrees. It's 45, 30 degrees, 20 degrees in Georgia is. I dress up if I'm walking outside of my house or I'm walking outside taking I'm taking a hike in the winter. Sorry, I
Yeah.
think my kid is banging on something upstairs. Um, if I'm hiking in the winter, I wear in 20 degrees in Alaska what I wore in 40 degrees in Georgia to be warm.
Hmm.
Um, so just something to think about. Whereas like if I'm gonna stay outside, no, I'm not gonna stay outside in 3 degrees or 4 degrees. I did my winter caribou hunt a couple of years back or last year, 2019. I did my winter caribou hunt at about 16 degrees, so I was outside all day in that. But honestly, I was out there in a couple of layers and a big fleece lined sweatshirt and some coveralls, and I was fine. Like I
Hmm.
didn't even put on a heavy jacket. So
Yeah,
uh,
I can't stand. I don't mind the cold weather, but man, when a breeze comes up, it's
and
rough.
that's the other thing is in Alaska, it's the wind comes and goes. Like most of the time at my house, it is deadly still wind. Like
Oh, that's freaky.
yeah, most of the time in Anchorage, it's deadly still wind. Maybe a mile or 2 miles an hour along the coast. You don't feel a lot of wind. But then there'll be weekends where it's blowing 30 miles an hour. But then it goes back to that. Now we just had a huge windstorm up in the valley here, which is the suburbs north of Anchorage, Wasilla and Palmer. They're not really suburbs, but I guess they are. But
Hmm.
and they had it's like a state of emergency. They had up to 50 and 70 mile an hour straight line winds. They closed the bridges over several places because the snow had blown up against the side of the bridge so much, and it was black ice on the road that you could have just gone whoop, right up the side and over into the river, which you would be dead on impact from the
Jeez,
fall. But you would, if you survived the fall, you'd be dead in 10 seconds from the coldness of the water.
man,
Um,
that's rough. Holy
yeah, so they
smokes.
closed all those bridges, and we had a 6.1 earthquake a few weeks ago. So which everything up here is built for it. We had that big 7.0 a few years ago, and like nobody died, and there were very few injuries, and some structure to the roads was bad, but almost all the buildings survived with a few cracks here and there. But like 7.0 in California or 7.0 in like Haiti would kill millions of people. So it's like
Yeah, I went through quite a few earthquakes in California. They're interesting, and it's funny when I went back there. Was it 3 years ago to visit?
hmm
Sitting in an ice cream shop with my kids and my wife. It's a freaking earthquake, man. Everything starts. The window shatters. Everyone's running under the. I'm like, man, just give me my ice cream. I just want to give my ice cream. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
yeah, they're not as bad as people make them out to be, unless you're in a building not rated for it.
Right.
Earthquakes don't kill, falling buildings do.
Yeah. Falling stuff does. Yeah.
Hmm.
It is kind of a trip though when everything starts shaking.
Yeah, it's kind of fun until it gets big.
Right. All
There's
right,
this
guys.
although
So
I was driving, so
again, if you're not a subscriber to Alaskan Ballistics, I just put his channel in the link. Please hit the subscribe button, like his channel. He'd greatly appreciate it. I would appreciate it. And let's see who else is in here. Mr. Big Hit says it's like opposite here, pack light in the summer because the heat hurts. I would do anything to have some nice dry heat instead of this humidity in Houston.
yeah, that's true.
Man, humidity is brutal.
Yes, it is.
I can deal with dry heat. Yeah. Well, hey man, thank you so much for coming on the channel.
Yes, sir.
I can't
Thanks for
tell
having me.
you how much it means to have you come on and give us some information. I wish I had more ballistics questions lined up because it's a fascinating subject. I
Yeah,
think I'm going to take this stuff out probably not next weekend. I got a couple exterior doors and some interior doors in my garage. Maybe take that out there, put some gel behind it, see if it'll go through a door and into the gel, see how that works. I think it'd be kind of cool. So
yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to that video. Let me know when it's up. I'll make sure I share it. So
maybe get creative, see how it works. But
yeah.
I like your redneck videos with the water jugs too. I mean, that looks like it works just as good.
Yeah, and it's not for scientific purposes, but it lets people know, hey, this ammo will penetrate different layers and penetrate straight, even though it just went through a pork shoulder bone. Yeah, that's good ammo.
Right. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching us tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Chuck greatly appreciates it. You guys have a wonderful night. Until next time.
Thank you so much.